What's up everybody, it's JR here, the driveway engineer, and today I'm going to show you how to build an Arduino powered fuel injection tester for your decapped injectors or for whatever purpose you really want to do it. So let's get started. Alright, to start loading your code on your Arduino, what you're going to need to do is head over to create.arduino.cc editor, and this will give you the tools you need. And you'll have to create an account. I have one here. And my code is uploaded in the library. So here's my code here. And I'll have it posted in the description so you guys can copy it and paste it. And if you just want it to work, you can copy it and paste it as is. And again, credit goes to Dale Follett for this, not me. Now the delay here, that 500, that's 500 milliseconds. You need to push the button for half a second before it clicks on. And then in this case, it will click the relays on for 5 seconds. So you can change this to 10 seconds or 20 seconds or whatever. And then you can copy this. You can just, write delay digital part, and then this clicks it on, LED pin low, LED pin high clicks it off. So you can just keep writing this and pulse the injectors if you want to do that. But injectors are rated at 43.5 pounds of pressure at wide open flow. So there's really no need to be pulsing them the way people do. I'm going to set this for 10 seconds, which is 10,000 milliseconds. All you do is plug your Arduino into a USB port on the side of your computer. And it'll detect it automatically. See there? It just popped up that it's been connected. And all you have to do is click upload. It'll say some stuff down here. AVI do done. Thank you. And that's it. Your code's on there. All you had to do was copy all this in to a blank one. So if you start with a new sketch like this, take all this out, delete it, take my code from the description, which is courtesy of Dale Follett. Again, I don't want to take anybody's credit. Line 56 is the end, and line 1 is the beginning. All you gotta do is Control V that in there, and if the cursor's on line 56, you got it. Okay? That's it. Now you can take this as far as you want if you want to learn Arduino. There's plenty of resources out there, but if you just want a working injector tester that clicks the injectors on for some predetermined time, well, here you go. Enjoy. So I'm going to stop this and then show you how to actually build the Arduino and wire it. Alright, it's my intention to make this just absolutely foolproof for you guys. So I'm really going to endeavor to show this from start to finish. Okay? There's a few of them out there, and they're not so great. They're not so thorough. For a beginner like me, probably like yourself if you're watching this, I don't know all the theory behind Arduino and everything. So we'll just start real simple. I will leave a link to this in the description. This is an Arduino Uno R3 Ultimate Starter Kit. Let me pull you back down here. this is going to have everything in it that you need except for the relay. So let's open it up. It actually does have a 5-volt relay, but you'd have to hardwire it, so I don't recommend it. But it comes with a bunch of crap and you don't need most of it. So we'll get down to the part that we care about here. I'll try to make this, like I said, as straightforward as possible. This is going to be for your 9-volt battery to power the Arduino. You can get a... This is going to be to load your programming onto it from your laptop. As far as a 9-volt battery, you can get a an actual AC adapter if you choose to do so. I'm not sure what this is, and I don't really care at the moment because I don't need it. Oh, so you can divide the box up. Or you can probably make this box into a actual project box for your Arduino. These dividers will slide down in there like this. Whatever. Anyway, let's get to the parts we care about. So, and here is your actual Arduino. Okay. I'm going to wire all this up, and then I'll show you how to load the code, because it's easier for me to make the video. But you may want to load the code first. And I want to say a big shout out to Dale Follett, whose website, twistedbuilds.com, was the inspiration for this, and he helped me with the coding. So I don't take credit here, just to be clear. The credit goes to Dale. He was great. He was a big help. It's a relatively simple thing, and since I've started playing with it and gotten more comfortable with it, I found it a little bit easier. But to start with, it was a little bewildering with, you know, all the stuff people were telling me, and you gotta use the Blink program and this and that and the other thing. So, alright, let me get out everything we need to get started here. We're going to need a button. We're going to need a cap for the button. These buttons are actually cooler than what's in my personal kit. You need your Arduino, you need your breadboard, right, which is this right here. You're going to need a resistor. And if you don't know, these are resistors. You'll need a 10K one, which is an arbitrary kind of value that everybody uses. If you want to know what happens when you pass current through these, see that? They're labeled. And if you look really close, you can see that they're marked with different colors. They have little bands on them, and you can Google that if you just like wind up with a loose one laying around and you're like, what is this? But in these Arduino kits, they're labeled at the bottom, which is helpful. So, we have, I don't know what that is, shouldn't be in there. We have our breadboard, we have our button, we have our 10K resistor, we have our Uno, we have our thing for our power supply, which apparently this kit did not include a 9-volt battery. And then we have our breadboard jumper wires. The last thing that you're going to need is going to be a relay builder board. Okay, and this is the one that I'm using, and there will be a link in the description. And what you do is you hook your leads in right here from the actual breadboard. Actually, some of them come from the Arduino, some of them come from the breadboard, but whatever, you get the idea. So let me go grab a few things real quick, and then we'll start building here. Alright, I see Brazil was helping you guys. Two things you're going to need that weren't in the kit, that weren't in this kit, and I'll leave links to them as well, are female to male jumper wires and a 9-volt battery. So, this particular builder's board comes with standoffs and this little deal so that you can stack it all up. Real neat. I'm not going to mess with that right now for the purpose of showing you this, and also because my camera's running and I don't want to edit forever. So, recap. Momentary button, breadboard, 10K resistor, Arduino Uno, relay, breakout board, 9-volt battery, USB cable, power supply, male to female jumper wires, and male to male jumper wires. And hopefully you've already, actually I'll edit this around so that we load the code first. So you should already, if you're following the video, you should have the code loaded because I'll edit that appropriately. So the first thing is, you take your switch. And I struggled with these switches like mad. But they like to go across like so. They like to bridge that gap. So I'm going to put mine way down at the bottom so that I can more easily track what it's doing. I'm going to pull out of here. I'm going to cut this and let these wires fly everywhere. Woo! Okay. I'm going to use a red wire, but it doesn't matter. Any wire is fine. Electricity doesn't care where it's going. But I'm going to use a red wire, and I'm going to go from the 5-volt, which you can actually see labeled down here. I'm going to go from the 5-volt pin, and I'm going to go to the plus side of one of these on the breadboard. And this will give me power all the way down there. Now it only gives me a power across on that row that it's on. If I want to give any further power, I have to take a wire and jump it. Okay. Now next up, I'm going to take a black wire, which again I'm only doing for simplicity's sake. I'm going to plug it into the ground terminal here. And I'm going to plug it into the ground rail. You can think of it like a bus of the Arduino. So this is what we have now. We have a power and a ground feeding all these. But there's only power and ground to this top rail. If we want to move anything, we have to jump it. So I really need to turn that down or I'm going to get a copyright strike, even though I'm not currently monetized. Okay, we have our momentary switch bridged across the middle gap. We have negative to negative on the Arduino, positive to positive on the Arduino. And now we're ready to move on and actually wire up the switch. So that's where the resistor comes in. What'll happen is when you apply power to a switch on an Arduino, without a resistor to like suck it down, bridge it over to ground, it'll kind of float. So you'll push it, 5 volts will pass through it, right? But then it won't go back to 0. It'll sit at like 1.1, so the Arduino never knows that the button was let go. It thinks you're continually holding it. So by putting a 10K resistor between the power supply and the ground, it sucks it back down. It's like putting a drain in the bottom of it. Sucks it all back down. So I struggled with that quite a bit, but you don't have to. Now, per our code, what our switch is looking for, what our Arduino is looking for, is to see that this button was pushed for half a millisecond. Now, I hopefully have covered that in the code, even though I haven't shot that part yet. I'll cover it when I get to it. So this wire goes between the resistor and the switch. So you should have a spot open, like so. So you got your leg of the switch, wired Arduino, resistor to ground. So that goes over to pin A0. Okay. Now the next thing we need is we need to actually give 5 volts to the switch. So I'm going to take, you can take it from anywhere on this positive rail. I'm just going to take it from the most convenient place, which is right next to the input, to kind of make the wire look nicer, but it doesn't matter. This whole rail is grounded, or is powered and grounded. Okay, up next is going to be the wires out to your actual relay switch. So that's where these male to female come in at, because this relay has male connectors. So to ground it, you can just simply tie into the ground wire, ground rail. Like so. Because remember, this whole is like a bus bar, the whole thing's grounded. And to power it, we can do the same. All we really need sneaky from the Arduino is the trigger. So this goes to, it'll say VCC, not power, or 5 volts. I don't know why they say VCC, but that's what they say. So then the last wire is going to be your trigger wire. So when the Arduino, when the code sees that you push this wire for half a second, the Arduino is going to change the output of A5, which is the very last one in the line. That needs to be a male to female. Sorry. That's going to change A5 to actually trigger the relay. So it's acting just like a switch. And then the code's going to fire it for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever. Alright, so now that you're all wired up and coded up, you're ready to go. And I'll just cover this again one more time real quickly. Put your switch on, like so that it bridges these gaps. Tie 12 volts to the top side from your 12 volt rail. Take the bottom side of the switch over to pin A0 on the Arduino. Your 10K resistor goes from right next to that pin over to the ground side bus bar. I hope that shows because it looks crappy on my screen right now. You simply feed the positive side and negative side bus bars. You can see that one, how it's labeled. It's the exact same thing over here, but I have wires blocking it. Them come straight off the Arduino, and where they're labeled 5 volts and ground. Then you take your power and ground male to female over here to the VCC is where the power goes, and ground is where the ground goes. And then your trigger wire comes off pin A5 down here to your relay, where mine says in 1. So if you buy the exact same relay, you'll have the exact same thing. And I think I'm going to use one relay to run all 4. I don't know. I'm probably not going to get that advanced, but if I do, I'll let you know in part 2. But that's it. You're wired up. If you've uploaded your code using the editor, as I showed you, that's down in the description, then you should be good to go right now. So, well, bear with me here. There's no on and off switch on Arduino, although you can buy one. So you just plug your battery in there, okay, and it's going to power up. If you remember from our code, we need to hold this for half a second in order for this to click on, and then it's going to fire that relay for 10 seconds. So let's use the timer on YouTube and you can see how it works. There it goes. And there it goes. There it goes. And there it goes. So what I'm going to do is hook a power supply to my injectors. I'm going to give them all 12 volts, and then I'm going to hook the ground side to this relay. So you have an in and an out. And we'll do that in part 2. But this is the simple part of how to get your injectors to fire. It'll work exactly like the ECM. The ECM grounds them for 10 seconds at it, or well, the ECM grounds them for milliseconds, but and this is going to fire your injectors, and you will be able to tell how much they flow by hooking them to graduated cylinders. So, till next time, this is JR. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and hopefully this helped you out. So if it did, be sure to share it with your friends. And if it didn't, share it with your enemies. We'll see you later.